given, I feel, a gift, which is the gift of longevity, and getting the time to explore a character over, not just seasons or not just, 90 to 120 minutes in a film, but like a substantial series and 2 series, maybe not either of the endings, but so many years playing Cordelia. How, when you first acted in your first episode until you were playing that character for the last time, did the character evolve and did you evolve as a person with the character?
So Angel was like graduate school for me. And I feel so blessed that I got to learn how to act on camera, on film, before the digital revolution. Because there was something very precious about the takes. Like, we couldn't do infinite takes on Angel like the way that they do now. And everything really counted. And I feel like film has a sort of romanticism to it and a certain beauty to it. So I feel like I learned so much about acting on the show, and I felt like every year there was one day where I was afraid to come to work. Meaning, I was being asked to do something that was so outside of my comfort zone. One season I had to juggle on camera, another season I had to do a scene with myself, another season I had to sing, then another season was a very dramatic scene that I was very afraid of. So I feel like I learned a lot, and I think turning Gunn into a lawyer that last season, if you notice, like, all of the shows I did after that were legal shows. So it was so big, because it was like, I think in Hollywood, people can have a very limited perception of you. So being on screen for that half a season in a suit gave people the idea of, oh, well, this guy could actually play a lawyer. So I got typecast as a lawyer for a long time. So that I would say, is some of the longevity, is the ability that I learned from being on the show, learning how to act on film, and then also showing the versatility of myself as a human being, which made me castable in other things.
Absolutely.
What's the question again?
So you got to play Cordelia for a long time. How did you evolve with the character? How did charisma influence Cordelia influence charisma?
100% Cordelia made me who I am today. 100% Cordelia is, when I started out as a new model, just mastering not fidgeting on camera, mastering not tucking my hair behind my ears, which I still do to this day.
Me too.
Just having set awareness, hitting your mark, not pissing off the focus puller, towards the end where, Cordelia had been fully realized in, from a one-dimensional character to a third-dimensional character, like being a queen or a princess and getting visions and, slowly becoming a part of the Scooby gang in the beginning, but still maintaining the sass. And then, all of those things informed charisma in the sense that Cordelia operated in such a deeply authentic place where even if she wasn't understood, it was just true to her. And I feel that after 10 years, how does that not seep into your psyche? How does that not resonate on such a, it's not intentional, it just is. So when people often, when people call me Cordy instead of charisma, I'm like, yeah, I'll answer to it because it was just the role of a lifetime, and I'll never not be grateful for the role. I'm falling in love with the show as an audience member now. I just feel that the role is probably one of the best roles I have had other roles that I did really enjoy, but this character and getting to do fighting and comedy and playing a stage actress, playing a sitcom actress, playing dramatic scenes, fight scenes, all the different things or asks that you had mentioned before was the greatest gift. This is a challenge for any actor, and if you can get the job, you are the luckiest of lucky. So,
when was the moment where you mentioned, and people may agree or disagree with you on this, but you mentioned at first Cordelia was very one dynamic, a single dynamic character. When did that turn start to come into play, where you were exploring more of the emotional depth and the sort of repercussions of her actions?
Well, I don't know that everybody ever really had any repercussions for her actions. I feel like, I think when things started to change was, I think this is pretty much, the fandom would say this, but I agree with the fandom on this. When Buffy and Helpless has that fallout with Giles in the library, and then she asks Cordelia to drive her home, and Cordelia on a dime says, of course. She's always been self-aware, she's always been able to read a room, even if she ignores.
I mean, are you talking about Cordelia or Charisma?
That's fair, what are you saying?
I see the parallels.
And I don't know how to read a room?
No, that you do.
But ignore it?
Possibly, time to time.
We'll check later. I'm going to dig a little deeper into that. Thanks for the feedback. Always growing and learning. I don't know. I'm done talking.
Sidebar. Do you remember that knife you gave me for my birthday the first season? Do you remember that?
No.
You gave me the most beautiful knife for my birthday.
Give me a knife.
You did. It was a switchblade.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a switchblade. Yeah. I mean, not a switchblade, but a folding knife. What do you call those knives?
Butterfly.
They have many.
Swiss.
Because that has a lot of tools.
Oh, wait.
What is it called? Butterfly? A butterfly knife. You gave me the most beautiful butterfly knife for my birthday. It was the most thoughtful gift ever. I'm bringing it up. No. But you didn't have to.
Did you give me
It's gorgeous.
$1?
$1? Why would I give you $1?
Whenever you give somebody a knife, you have to pay them $1, or like you have to. It has to be
It's not too late.
Too late.
It's
not too
why,
late.
because it can sever the relationship. That's the superstition behind it.
Well, I'm here for 5, so you got these 5. You're right, inflation. See you later.
Good. I think we've proven that.
I think so. But the only reason I brought it up because I was thinking to myself this morning, am I cheap? And this is why I asked. Because I had this big tub of lotion, right? And you know how like 20% of the lotion goes to waste because it's on the bottom.
Yeah, you gotta cut.
So I took the knife you gave me and I cut into the lotion to get that last 20% of the lotion. And I used that this morning. That's why I'm bringing it up today.
That makes you cheap. I think that makes you a Virgo.
I was about to say,
Well, they do that.
I was literally doing the same thing with my eye cream this morning.
then I feel in good company.
It's just like rude.
It's
That
rude.
you can't access that last thing.
It's so rude.
I don't put it in there then.
I pay for that.
Yeah, you're stomping on it though. I don't like there's plastic. The cosmetics. We need to work on this.
I'll loan you mine. When I see like a kid do something or something really beautiful happen to a child, that will make me cry. But I was really nervous about playing that scene. And I didn't have to cry, but I thought I had to. And that made me really nervous. I was really nervous about it.
Isn't that interesting? I feel like we were all, younger, obviously, decades younger when we did the show. And as an artist, you evolve. And I think something really interesting to touch on is how have each of you evolved as an artist by maybe setting or not setting preconceived plans when you're acting or even directing or even recording your podcast.
My podcast is so planned to like the last period. It is an arduous process. It's a document that's 23 pages long. It takes forever to produce it. But everything is very, I think what the show taught me, what I gleaned from years of being on the show was half measures avail us nothing. So you have to be, I was never not prepared. It may have seemed like I wasn't because I may have been anxious or had like gotten in my head or whatever. And I think that still does exist in me, but for whatever reason, I mean, I'm not looking to challenge this immediately, but I'm just saying that I think it was an anxious to have a coaching lesson, and I talk about what's happening in the scene and what's my intentions, and then I break down every line with a doable action. Like, what is this line saying or doing? Like, what is the inflection? Like, did I hear right? Would be like, what did you say to me? Would be like, did I hear right? So everything was always like that. And then that work ethic has just sustained me. So I carry that into the podcast, which is what I'm actively doing today. So you can't work for any length of time and put in those kind of hours and not prepare. Especially with our bosses, where the dialogue is so good on the page, you want to do it justice, you don't want to be the weakest link, you want to give it your all. Like, I never lacked the heart of doing it, but it did almost kill me. Just trying so hard.
And talking about the Bitch I'm Back, your podcast, you mentioned that, you know, the whole premise is you're watching the show for the first time. And what are your takeaways?
So you'll have to tune in to listen. I launched my merch today, if you haven't noticed. I'm wearing a shirt. It's a sample, but you can figure that out at my table, whatever. Like, no obligation, but just, I'm so excited about it because the podcast has become such a beautiful part of my life, and it's really helping me tap into another part of myself as a writer. It's teaching me new skills and creativity, and it's teaching me skills on my computer that I was always terrible at. It's teaching me how to be a leader and how to work with a team. It's teaching me how to be a CEO and make executive decisions that are like, hard choices to make. Like, okay, how do we come up with that money? How do we do that? Like, to brainstorm creatively, come up with segments that like resonate with people. But the most beautiful thing about the podcast is I am, for the first time watching it and realizing how fucking talented my co-stars are. For me, my personal experience has been like, there's one thing being in a scene with somebody else, and sometimes you can feel their power in the scene, and it's another to see the final product, like to look at the editing, to have it cut, to see the push in on the camera, on the expression, backed with music, and to also like so for me, being on the show, I wasn't in every scene, so the core memories that I have are going to be scenes that I was actually in. But what I'm learning when I watch the show is, this scene between Buffy and Angel, you know, and I don't remember which episode it is, but it's like she doesn't know he's a demon yet or a vampire yet, and she goes to bring him food. He's waiting for her in her room, and he's like fingering this Ziploc of food because he doesn't know what to do with it, and because he doesn't eat like that. And she doesn't know, and then he's acting a certain kind of way because he's like, fuck, I don't eat food. And I don't want to tell him. And then she's like, oh, he hates my food. Like, he's just being... So there's like these moments that like are funny, but they're also like you can feel the pain and the angst of each of them in that moment. Like, oh, he hates my food, and why did I do this? And why is it blocked? And why did I bring utensils? Like, I could almost like go on a rant thinking like all the things that she's probably thinking in that moment, and him going, oh, I don't eat broccoli. This is I do this. And it's just been such a freaking joy to watch my cast. I can't wait to get the Angel. You know, to just really see it from a different perspective. Like, being in it is one thing, and having an idea of a scene and how it's coming across. Or like somebody will make a choice, and I'm like, I wouldn't have made that choice. That seems like a weird choice. Like, why did you make that choice? And then you see it, and you're like, oh, that's why they made that choice. Wow, they're really talented. Like, they knew, right? It's just been I feel like it's a masterclass. The shows, the writers, the performers, like, I was working. I never really want to assume anything.
Oh, you can
and
assume.
it's not like, I'm going to get to Angel, I absolutely will. And you know what episode I'm going to have this?
Which one?
The one where we're at the car rental.
First Impressions. Yes. Season 2, episode like 3. Okay, perfect. I love that. Yeah, I'll bring my knife.
Yeah. So I'm gonna open it up in a minute. So start thinking about your questions. But Jay, I'm asking him right now. I got a flow happening. I got the flow. project right now. Convenience is the title. I love that title. I want to know more. What can you tell us, and what can you tell us about the process of, you know, not just being the writer, but having the full visionary directing? Like, you're like Charisma with the podcast. You've got your fingers a little bit everywhere.
Yes. And can I just piggyback on something you said earlier, which I know I can speak for the three of us, when you asked the question earlier about how the show resonates into our lives, even to this moment. Like, even just in this moment, sitting here with all of you right now, and I know I speak for the three of us when I say that here we are 20, 25 years later, to still be able to gather together with you all and fellowship and get to meet new people and have these conversations all this time later is just like a gift you will never understand. Because as actors, you do your work, you go home, it airs, you never really get to have this moment like you do in theater. You finish your performance, you go out into the audience afterwards, people tell you they loved it, they hated it. But here we are, and just this gift of this community has been one that I never would have foresaw. So thank you all so much for being here today. We appreciate you so much. That being said, Convenience, my movie, is born out of this. It's born out of this ability to still have a relationship with an audience, and the lessons that I learned from Angel taking into this process now as a writer, director, and actor. And I have to say, like, wearing all three hats is illuminating what all three jobs really are in a way that I never could have understood. I mean, to me, it's kind of like being the cheese in a cheeseburger and understanding the patty. If that makes any sense. It doesn't. But it's like understanding the burger from the inside, not from eating it. If that makes sense. There was a food metaphor earlier. Getting you back on. But like, it's funny because sometimes I'm working on the script and I find something as an actor where I'm like, I wasn't even conscious of that when I wrote it, that this character is feeling this in this moment. So it's really hard to describe, but it's like the most fulfilling experience I've ever had. And it's like I'm learning things about myself that I never knew too. So I'll have more to say about it the closer it gets to production, because I don't want to share too much about it too early, but you'll all hear about it, and I hope to God you will support me with it, because I need your support.
Individually talk about our journeys as artists and like still getting to do that and fulfill that. We're all natural leaders. If you don't get to be on these shows, you know, for any other reason except for like profound self-belief and determination and tenacity, like it has to outweigh talent even. If you have to just have this faith that nobody else has in you, and you drive and drive and drive. And I feel like all of us have that. And I think this show solidified that, because you have to maintain and sustain that. And now to like step back all these years later, to see you and Julie developing thing, and you've directed a documentary before, and you've ran Geek Nation, and you have multiple businesses going all the time. You developing this makes me so excited, and what I said about what I was doing. And it's just like, you guys, I'm proud of us. I'm proud of us. It's so awesome. Anyway, I'm done.
It is so awesome. And now it's your turn.
Honestly, you're kind of not you, but like you're kind of really obsessed with yourself. Anybody else?
I know. She's also very, even though she's very into fashion and clothes, she's very like asexual in a way. Yeah. So, Jay, who would you ship Gunn with?
I mean, I loved the relationships that Gunn did have. I wish that the relationship with Gwen would have lasted a little longer, because Alexa and I really, we had great energy together, and I love that. I love that scene where I had to like touch her back because I wasn't sure if she was going to shock me or not, and I thought that was so precious. I just love that so much. But if it were outside of that, I don't know. I have to think about that.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Charisma?
I think Cordelia and Spike would be fun. Because I was speaking to some fans earlier about how we were on Slayers together, and Cordelia was a Slayer.
Yeah.
And then Spike and her had a lot of scenes. And we had just come back from 90s Con in 2022, came here to LA. Both of us got terribly sick on the plane. I don't know what happened at 90s Con, if it was the food or just con crud. He had con crud and I had like some kind of flu. And so we had to be separated from the rest of the the rest of the cast. They were in the center of the room, but we were both behind, so we didn't infect anybody, behind the glass. And we were straight across from each other, and we had to do all of these scenes together. And I was like, what if? Like, if there's a season 2, are we get like? I felt like there was a crackling happening between the two characters, and I had never, not ever considered that until doing Slayers. I'd always thought that Cordelia and Spike had a lot of the same sensibilities. You know, kind of bratty, you know, he's like a brat and he just says what he thinks and does what he wants. And I thought that Cordelia was a lot like that as well. So I never thought of like, what would they be like together because they seemed too much alike. But when I did Slayers, I thought, Spike and Cordelia, what an idea.
Wow. I love that.
Wait, I think I have an answer finally.
Oh, okay.
But you know, wait. Kendra. Let me tell you something. If I was in Magicians, I'm leaving here and going to my doctor's office. Because there's something wrong with my brain. What is Magicians?
Magicians is a more current show, right?
Daniel gets Richards in Magicians.
First of all, you're serious as a guy. You're serious like Alan Rickman or whatever his name is. What is Magicians?
It's kind of like Harry Potter, but they're in grad school.
Let me help you out. Did you ever play a king in anything?
I played a king on Vampire Academy. I don't think that was me. Look up Magicians. So you're off the hook.
All right, next question. Where we going?
We the ones from school. We the ones from school. I'm proud of that season. My character, season 5, he got a legal upgrade, but it came with a side course in Gilbert and Sullivan. So I knew all of these weird Gilbert and Sullivan quotes and references that would come out with my legal jargon. But I was proud of that scene because this was the first time I called the office, and it was written in the script that I was singing Three Little Maids. So I told them, I learned the song, and I said, okay, I'm going to be singing it in this key. So if you want to do a flourish before the scene opens, this is the key I will be in. So I did, and I think that they chose that key because if you notice there's a flourish before I start singing, then I start singing. And I just like that scene so much because, I don't know, I just liked it. I like corny songs too. Like when people talk about my corny songs too, so I really understood it. So I just love that scene.
I love that
answer. There's in Angel, I think the most demanding scene that I can think of on the spot right now would be the episode where I get the visions, and that was like a heartbreaking episode in general. But when Cordelia is in the hospital and you guys all come, and Angel's like they're trying to pin me down, and I'm losing my mind, and I'm like flailing in the bed, and that was like an exhausting scene to shoot because I don't know how to half step anything. It's like pedal to the metal always. Like, I'm I'm committed, I'm gonna do it. And that was like a really, really challenging thing to do. I remember too, that shirt that I was wearing was like not the best material, and it was like really coarse. And so, like, David doesn't do things halfway either. So when he comes in and he like comes to my bedside and he grabs me by the arms, he's like, Cordy. And like every time he grabbed me by, he was really grabbing my arm, like not in a hard or a bad way, but that frickin' shirt would just like rub on my skin, and it was like this, but it actually served me in a scene. It actually like was so uncomfortable that I like used it to keep going and losing my mind. I thought like getting my visions was something that I was intimidated to do. I had to do a lot of research. I had to plan out like where does Cordelia feel the visions? Where in my body are the visions going to come from, or like there's just so much to think about, and like what do I see? What resonates with charisma as an artist that would make me feel the horrors of the pain in the world? Like what traumatic, global, what would my imagination take, like what would be the absolute horrific, and I didn't have children at that time, because that would be like a thing that one could like immediately go to, like the idea of having to encounter that. But I went to the library, and I worked with Iris Klein, she was my coach, and she was just like my right-hand man, and I never walked alone in my character of Cordelia without her. Like she was just an integral part of who she is. And she taught me like how to prepare for something like that. And so I went to the library and I went to look at, unfortunately, Hiroshima, and I looked at real like images of war, and I looked at like famine, and I looked at all sorts of like terrible things that happen in the world to kind of like have a place mentally to go when I saw a thing, or put myself in that position. Like, what would it be like? You know, there's that famous picture, it's seared in my brain. It was a Life magazine photo, and it's like a naked child, you know, running, you know, away from a war-torn area, and the grief-stricken expression on their face is just so surreal and seared in my brain. Like that's often where I would go mentally when I would have a vision. So I feel proud. I hope it came across well, but I do feel proud of the effort and planning and care of that work.
So the body part that you chose was the brain?
The head.
Yeah, nice.
Like a migraine,
Yeah.
like a really terrible migraine, which later, in the later seasons, she takes drugs to like deal with the pain of the visions, because the visions were getting more and more like migraine, like 10 migraines at once.
Yeah, you committed. You committed.
All right, we've got time for one more question. Yes.
Who is your guys' favorite Slayer, Faith or Buffy, and why?
I don't have a favorite. I know that's a safe answer. I didn't. I worked with Eliza. Who did you say? It was Kendra. I did work with Eliza. She came on our show briefly, but I never worked with Sarah, but she's still a favorite of mine, just in terms of she's dope.
All right, we'll take one more quick question. Who's got the last one? Okay, right here at the hat. Yes.
What's the best fact that a fan reminded you of, or that you forgot about, that just put a smile on your face and made your day?
Ooh. Best fact or moment?
I'm going to zero it in on today. Let's say the best fact today that a fan ever. I totally forgot that I had this line, but I guess Gunn went to sing for Lauren and Caritas, and Wesley asked him, "What song did you sing?" And Gunn says, "You wouldn't know it."
Charisma, any standout recalls from fandom that touched you?
I mean, I think like for me the biggest thing is like one of my all-time favorite things to hear from fans. Two things. One is, this is my daughter or my son or whatever, and I introduce them. Like when I see the passing down of the show and that it brings them together, there's nothing better. There's not a fact about like my character that I can think of right now that like, oh, I didn't remember that. And then the other thing that is my favorite, now I forgot.
Magicians.
All right, one final question for me, for both of you. If you had to encapsulate the whole experience on the show and in the years, after, as we've discussed, coming to events and still continuing to bond with the fandom and with each other, in one word, what would that one word be?
Community.
That's what the podcast is about, right? Like the Buffyverse has had a really rough time the last, like I would say 12 months. I'm not going to say calendar year, but like in the last 12 months, the Buffyverse has really been hit hard with losing castmates, with the reboot being canceled, with Slayers being canceled. It's just been like a rough go. And I feel like that's the one thing that meant so much to me about creating the podcast was I felt from you guys that I wouldn't know certain things about the show or the series, and people would be really bummed. They're like, you don't know? And I'm like, well, I'd gone to Angel by then, and I wasn't watching Buffy, not because I didn't care about Buffy, but like, do you know what it's like to work on a vampire show? Or vampire show? Like, you have no life. I didn't even see my family. Don't take it bad. But so then it just got to a point where I felt like I do these cons so much. What if, I had thought about doing this in 2022, and I had written a pitch and did the whole thing, and then it took that long for it to come to fruition. It took like 3 years for it to like get done and get made and get financed and all of that. So I feel like the one thing I wanted was community. I really wanted it to, I often say the Bitches Back is comfort content. It's like Buffy comfort content. Like I really wanted to be a place where you get to enjoy watching me watch it for the first time, and you can feel my passion, and you can go, oh my god, this scene, and this is what I was thinking, this is what happened, and like, why did they make that choice? And oh, that was so good. Like, I just love, I'm so committed to it. So I feel like I want everybody to be a part of that party, And the good news is that a lot of it was paywall before, and that's coming out in phase 2. We're bringing out, I'm not partnered with Patreon this year going forward, so I don't have to paywall all that stuff anymore. So I'm bringing way more stuff to YouTube and to Apple and Spotify, so we can expand the community, where we can really give that.
It's the best word, community. Thank you guys so much.